Welcome back to Antique Machine, where we journey through time and technology, exploring the craftsmanship, machines, and timeless traditions that shape the world we build today. Wood. It's more than just a material. It's a living record of nature's patience and human skill. For centuries, Japan has turned wood into art, architecture, and spirit. From ancient temples that have stood for over 1,000 years to the quiet rhythm of a craftsman's saw, Japanese woodworking reflects harmony between man, material, and nature. Today, we'll step inside this beautiful world. You'll see how Japanese craftsmen select, cut, and shape each log with precision born from centuries of tradition. Every stroke, every movement tells a story of discipline, respect, and mastery. Let's begin where it all starts. Deep in the forest, where the journey of a wooden masterpiece truly begins. Before a single cut of wood is made, the Japanese craftsman begins with a ritual, the selection of the tree itself. For generations, they have believed that every tree carries a soul. Choosing the right one is not a matter of chance, but of respect. In the old forests of Japan, the lumbermen walk slowly beneath tall cedars and cypress, listening to the wind that moves through their leaves. The best trees are not the biggest, but the ones that grew straight and calm, untouched by storms. When it's time to cut, the work is deliberate, quiet, almost sacred. Each stroke of the saw is a conversation between man and nature. The sawyers move in rhythm, their tools singing softly through the wood. It's not a race for production, but a dance of precision and balance. And once the tree falls, the real craft begins, the transformation of raw nature into beauty and purpose. Now, let's follow that log as it journeys from forest to workshop, where human hands and ancient tools turn it into something truly timeless. The journey of Japanese wood begins quietly, not with noise and speed, but with patience. Once the logs arrive from the forest, the first thing craftsmen do is simply wait. They allow the wood to rest. This resting period can last for weeks, even months, depending on the moisture trapped inside. The Japanese understand something that modern industry often forgets. Wood, like people, needs time to breathe. During this stage, the logs are examined carefully. The craftsman studies the growth rings, the direction of the grain, and even the scent of the wood. Each type, cedar, cypress, zelkova, has its own voice and temperament. The craftsman must listen before he acts. When the time comes to cut, the process is deliberate. Traditional Japanese sawmills were often powered by water or hand labor. The blade glides through the grain with a gentle pull, not a push, a unique characteristic of Japanese saws. This pulling motion gives more control, less tearing, and a cleaner surface. To the untrained eye, it may seem slow, but to those who know, this rhythm is what brings perfection. You can hear it, a soft, steady whisper of metal on wood, a sound that has echoed in mountain villages for centuries. The log is then sectioned into beams and boards, each planned for a specific purpose, building homes, temples, furniture, or fine art. In Japan, nothing is random. Every piece is measured with intention, and even the smallest offcut is treated with care. Inside the sawmill, the air grows thick with the scent of resin and sawdust. Sunlight filters through the old wooden windows, falling on the aged machines, relics of post-war Japan. The workers use a chain hoist to lift the massive log onto the carriage of a large bandsaw. Every step requires care. A single mistake could split the wood or damage the blade, or worse, injure a man. Once the log is set in place, the master sawyer inspects the grain and decides where the first cut will be made. This decision isn't random. It's guided by decades of experience, reading the knots, cracks, and patterns that tell the story of the tree's life. The bandsaw hums to life. The long blade begins to spin, slicing through the air with a low metallic song. The men exchange nods, the signal that the operation begins. The giant log moves slowly along the steel rails toward the blade's edge. As steel meets wood, the first contact sounds like a whisper. Then a steady roar fills the room. Sawdust bursts into the air like golden smoke. Each layer peeled away reveals the pale heart of the tree, hidden for generations. The sawyer adjusts the controls with precision, ensuring the cut follows the natural curve of the grain. Thick slabs fall away, one after another. They will later be trimmed, dried, and shaped into beams, planks, or panels, depending on their quality. The process looks simple, but it is the product of centuries of tradition. Unlike modern sawmills run by automation, here every decision, from blade tension to feed speed, comes from human intuition. This harmony between man and machine defines the soul of Japanese woodworking, a quiet balance between craftsmanship and respect for nature. Now, the first rough cuts are complete. Two workers carefully remove the massive timber sections from the saw carriage. They move in rhythm, one pushing, one balancing, one guiding. Each beam weighs hundreds of kilograms, yet they handle it with grace born of experience. Wood of this size is destined for something special. Perhaps the framework of a shrine, a temple pillar, or the structure of a traditional home. Each piece is unique. The craftsmen inspect every one, tapping its surface with a mallet to listen to the tone, a simple yet ancient method of checking internal quality. In their hands, the sawmill becomes a stage where strength and precision perform side by side. Next, the beams are placed onto another conveyor for fine cutting. Here, a second bandsaw refines the timber into smaller, more uniform pieces. This step determines not only the size, but also the smoothness and texture of each board. The machine hums continuously as the boards slide through one after another. The operator stands calmly at the edge, guiding each piece by touch and by sound. He knows when the blade begins to dull, when the feed is too fast, when the grain might tear, all by the subtle vibration under his hands. This connection between craftsman and material cannot be taught from books. It's passed down from generation to generation, through years of experience and observation. At another station, a woman works with quiet concentration. She wears a straw hat and a cloth mask to shield herself from the fine dust that floats in the air like mist. Her hands guide each board through the planing machine, removing the final imperfections left by the saw. This is where the boards truly begin to take shape, smooth, even, and ready for drying. Each pass of the planer is accompanied by the rhythmic sound of steel against wood, steady, almost musical. In traditional Japanese sawmills, every worker understands not only their own role, but how it fits into the larger process. They move like members of an orchestra, each step harmonizing with the next in the symphony of craftsmanship. Freshly cut boards are stacked neatly at the end of the line. Workers examine them under soft daylight, checking for knots, splits, and color variations. High-quality boards are separated for fine furniture, temple restoration, or decorative paneling, while others will be used for structural purposes. Even the sawdust and offcuts aren't wasted. They're repurposed as fuel for heating, or as mulch to nourish new trees. A full circle of life that echoes Japan's deep respect for nature. To these craftsmen, waste is a form of disrespect. Every fiber of wood deserves to serve a purpose. Finally, the lumber reaches the drying stage, one of the most critical phases in the process. A forklift carefully loads stacks of fresh boards into large cylindrical kilns. These heavy steel chambers draw out the moisture under controlled heat and pressure. This step can take hours or even days, depending on the density of the wood and the weather conditions outside. If rushed, the boards may crack or warp. If too slow, they could grow mold. The workers monitor the temperature and humidity with the patience of seasoned artisans. When finished, the wood will be strong, stable, and ready for the final stage of Japanese craftsmanship, whether it's to be shaped into furniture, architecture, or art. As the kiln doors close with a heavy clang, the rhythmic sounds of the sawmill fade into a soft hum. It marks not the end of the process, but a transformation, from living tree to enduring material, prepared by human hands that honor both nature and tradition. Inside this traditional Japanese sawmill, every cut is a conversation between man and wood. Each step, from hauling the raw log to drying the finished plank, reflects a philosophy rooted in respect, patience, and mastery. Here, technology serves craft, not the other way around. And though the machines may be old, their rhythm still beats with the timeless heart of Japanese woodworking. In an age of mass production, places like this remind us that true craftsmanship is not measured by speed or scale, but by the care and spirit placed into every single piece.